Hey, I'm Liz.
And I'm Leah.
Welcome back, decorators, to video 3 of our 3-part series about the intro to the method. So far in video 1, what did we do?
We showed you how to combine the basic borders and showed how it makes all the difference just combining those simple borders.
Yeah, I remember it was just 2 things, a zigzag and being able to do like a half C, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
That's
2 things
it.
to make really pretty borders. We also showed you kind of what it looks like to be in training mode, decorating on the backs of pans and on boards so that you're not wasting a whole lot of cake. There's that. Also, in video 2, we showed you how to block or ice your cake like a pro.
Which is super, super, super important.
Super important. It really is. So that was that in video 2. And now in video 3, we promised you that we were going to show you something that actually brings together what the whole course is about. And we actually do this in the course as well. But we are going to show you, Leah's going to decorate and I'll narrate how to do a cake in less than 5 minutes, decorate the whole thing. You ready? Let's get started. So in all fairness, the 5-minute video or 5-minute cake really is with the cake blocked already. So Leah's using a bench knife to mark. She's made an X in the top of the cake, and then she's actually using those marks to go from corner to corner with the bench knife. Now this is really the hallmark of a pro, using one tool. The more you pick up and put down tools, the longer things take. So knowing how to use your tools for multiple purposes really helps you get things done quicker. So she's created a little spiral with this technique. Now she's going to put what is called corneli lace. You guys maybe have seen this a lot of times, but it's just a pretty little lace. She's using a number 4 writing tip. Now, a writing tip is so useful. I have actually decorated a whole cake with nothing but a writing tip. And knowing how to decorate a whole cake with just one tip is an amazing tool. So that's another thing you guys had talked about, it being expensive. If you know how to use 1 or 2 of your tips, you really can decorate an entire cake with that 1 or 2 tools. So Leah's just filling in very quickly. Corneli lace is a great way to fill up some space, and it's also pretty. And it's a cool way to differentiate the lines of this cake, which are a spiral. So another thing Leah is using is a bag with a coupler in it. This is another really time-saving tool. You can use one bag and switch out tips instead of switching out bags, using the same bag, same icing, and just switching out the tip. So coupler's great because it allows you just to unscrew one piece and put the other tip right back on. So she's quickly finishing up her corneli lace. Now, in this video, we're not actually teaching the method of how to do the corneli like we do in so many of our other videos. So the next part of this is actually using a rose tip, and we are color striping by just using one bag and putting the color right down in the bag. Those of you who have watched me decorate over the years have seen this over and over again. It's a really cool way to get some color, get some variation in color, something we also call variegation often. And Leah's using her rose tip to create a ruffle. You have plenty of time. So by using color striping, you can get lots of different shades of the same color on a cake, lots of varying striping, and you're just using one bag. With color striping, you can even add multiple colors. It's an amazing tool that we teach. And lots of decorators have told me just by learning color striping, it has transformed their decorating. So we're just continuing on with the ruffle. There you go. So here's that quick change of tips that we talked about. Leah's putting on a star tip. So far we've used just a writing tip, a star tip, and a rose tip. Now, really those are the three that you need all the time. 3 tips, a matter of maybe $3 or $4 at the most. And if you know how to expertly use those 3 tips, you could create anything, a full wedding cake, anniversary cakes, even sculpting. Knowing how to use those tips in multiple ways really is the skill. Leah's using just a straight shell, which is the most beginning shell. But if done incorrectly, it can be the worst one. So getting this straight shell perfect in your practicing time is the key to everything. Knowing the pressure control that's needed for that is the key to everything. It's like the holy grail of cake decorating. So Leah's using this straight shell again to create what's called a braid. So if you know how to make a straight shell, you can learn quickly how to do a braid. But knowing how to make that straight shell correctly is the only way that you'll ever get a braided shell border to look pretty. So we're quickly rounding the back side. Now I want you guys to know that this really isn't a gimmick, the 5-minute cake. These happen all the time with well-trained decorators. So now Leah's using her same rose tip that has this color striping in it, and she's going to create a rose on a skewer. Another time-saving technique, as well as a way to make a really pretty flower that can be placed anywhere. No drying time needed. And there you go. Hold on. Okay. So Leah, while we're at it, we have a little bit of time left. Why don't you add some green to this bag like we do and put a leaf tip in there. And let's show what it looks like just to add a little leaf on there. So we're just adding color right to the bag. Now this works great if you're not going to use this bag again. You know, if you're just doing the one cake and you really don't need the bag again, you can add your green right to your white bag. You just squeeze it out until you've got your green color. And we're going to switch out to a leaf tip. Now you don't even need to own a leaf tip. A leaf tip can be created with a parchment paper bag, no problem. But since they are pennies, you can have a few. Leaf tips come in lots of different sizes and shapes, and they all work about the same, so it doesn't really matter which one you have. There's just a little extra added green and a really pretty, super quick cake with the most basic of cake decorating techniques. We moved it over so you can get a better look at the top of it. Leah, will you back that up just a little? There we go. Now spin it one more time. And you can see, super simple and 5 minutes or less. So what do you think? Was that impressive or what? So it was really basic skills, really basic and really quick. And like I said while Leah was decorating the cake, I want you to know that's not a gimmick. And in the video course, we will show you multiple ways to get that done. Ways to combine borders together, ways to combine flowers together, ways to get a really professional looking cake. Like we said, it's our whole method, quickly, with basic skills. And we do have to qualify, that's after you've practiced. So there really is no magic wand for that. It takes a lot of practice. And like Leah shared in video 2, she had to do nothing but block before she learned to decorate when she was an apprentice. And so you'll have to put in a little bit of time decorating, but it really is short bursts of time, even 5 minutes a day. Do you know, I heard once that if you were to practice anything 5 minutes a day, in 1 year you would be 1,000% better. It's kind of impressive, really. Makes you think. Anyway, I promised also in video 2 that we would share with you what are some opportunities for well-trained cake decorators. And I don't know if we've ever really talked about this before.
Not too much, if any, I don't think.
I don't know. So there really are so many opportunities for a well-trained cake decorator. Some of which are really being able to decorate for friends and family. So having the control over what goes in your cake for your friends and family is huge. And you won't have to order a cake from a bakery anymore because now you know how to do it for yourself, and you can control the ingredients that go in, when it's picked up, how much it costs,
what it looks like.
What it looks like. Yeah, you control what your cakes look like. So that's huge. But what happens so often is that our well-trained home decorators, and this has happened all over the world from our YouTube viewers, get so good that people are saying, you know, can you do a cake for me? Can you do a cake for me? And pretty soon it becomes necessary to start charging for those cakes. So many of our decorators around the world have become professionals sort of by accident, I think, in a lot of cases. Many intentionally, but sort of by accident, because their cakes are really so pretty, so professional looking, that they have the ability to charge for them. So that's one opportunity. Another really is being a home decorator as a business. So it can be a quite serious business. I had an apprentice once who came for really a short period of lessons. I think in the end it really was about 10 lessons, which is the core of this course as well. She went on to have a business that created about $50,000 a year from her home. And she was really just, that was all her training, about 10 lessons of this core method. So of course that doesn't happen for everyone. Actually, that person went on to open a whole store, a bakery, coffee shop, and wedding cakes and everything. So it really can take you a long way with some basic skills. The other kinds of opportunities there are pretty varied. So we have decorators who work in catering. Yeah?
Yeah, definitely. Catering is... Go ahead.
No.
Yeah, definitely. It's really great to be able to work with catering because it gives you, in a way, it gives you some free time, but you can also make these extravagant, beautiful wedding cakes. So a lot of times catering does the food, but they don't really do the cakes. And they always look for people who, or bakeries or businesses that do the cakes. So you can always team up with a catering business and you get orders from them.
Yeah, catering is a really great way, and a great way for a person who is fairly new to get into the business as well.
Yeah, definitely.
There's also working in cake shops. So around the country and around the world, wherever you are, bakeries are starving for well-trained decorators. They don't exist anymore. These methods are just not being taught. They're not being taught in culinary schools as well. Most culinary schools give about 2 weeks for cake decorating.
And it's mostly just fondant.
Right.
And not a lot of borders, not a lot of anything, really.
Really very few piped on flour techniques as well. I think that's something that really sets us apart from so many decorating classes and courses, is that we really have a basis in piped on flours. So in the course we actually teach 3 main flours, but they're the basis for almost every flower we've done. If you've watched our videos, you've seen orchids, hibiscus, daffodils, pansies, stargazer lilies, mums. What else? Sweet peas.
Sweet peas, yeah.
5-petal flowers, which consist of cherry blossoms and plum blossoms and dogwood. Oh, dogwood's amazing. Anyway, there's really hundreds of flowers that come from these 3 basic techniques. So if you learn in the course, we teach 5-petal flowers, sweet peas, and roses on a skewer, which is essential. You saw Leah do it in this cake. Those are the basis for all of those flowers that we teach. And so that sets us apart because a lot of people are doing hard drying flowers, fondant flowers, molded chocolate flowers, and they're really time consuming.
And flowers on a nail, which actually are also more time consuming, and you can't make as many flowers that way.
It's true. So the ability to create a full-blown orchid, I mean, we can do probably 10 different kinds of orchids on top of a cake in less than 5 minutes. An orchid takes the longest of almost any flower to do, but it's really less than, well, if you're fast at it, maybe 2.5 minutes. But to be able to do that on the top of a cake quickly in icing is an amazing skill. Now, we don't teach that in this course, though we do teach it on YouTube, but we teach you the basic skills that you need to be able to do flowers like that. So that's an amazing thing, and it is something that's different and just not being taught in other courses. So back to what some of the opportunities are. One big opportunity there is for teaching. So if you become a well-trained decorator in this method now, you could eventually become a teacher, a trainer of a method like this. So we'll eventually be teaching trainers to teach the method to other people. And this course will be a requirement for those certified teachers as well. But it's an opportunity. They teach it in crafting stores, cake decorating stores, as well as in shops. When I was Leah's age and she was just a tiny little girl, that was something that I did to create an income, is I trained decorators right in their stores. I trained decorators for grocery stores, for Dairy Queens, for their own private bakeries. And it was a nice little living at the time. So becoming a teacher is a big opportunity as well. So can you think of any others, Leah?
Well, just working in a grocery store, being able to do your audition cake when you go in. You know, cake decorating is a skill, and so most of the time it is paid a little more than minimum wage, so that really helps. And just knowing these basic skills, knowing how to do a cake in 5 minutes or so, and it's beautiful, you're going to get that cake right away, because like she said, even grocery stores are starving for cake decorators, so that's a big opportunity too if you're looking for a full-time cake decorating job.
It's true, and this course really does give you the basic skills that a person would need to have a cake audition for a shop, especially a grocery store shop. Grocery store shop. That's what I meant to say. It really is. These basic skills. In fact, most employers would be kind of blown out of the water by somebody who can put together even just this cake so quickly. Speed is an important factor. And if you have these skills learned in this particular way, you will have that speed as long as you practice. You do have to practice.
Lots and lots
Did
of
I
practice.
say you have to practice?
I think so, but just in case, you do need to practice.
You really do have to practice. So, but again, you know, short periods of time, and these methods are simple, and yet if you don't learn them correctly, like you will through this course, it doesn't all go together. The pieces don't fit. It's like a missing piece of the puzzle. You have to know how to use pressure control. You have to know timing.
For sure.
Knowing how to hold your body and stand correctly.
That's really important.
Yeah, those are some of the things that are in the course. So while we're on the topic, what else is in the course? Leah actually edited this course, so she knows what's in it better than anybody else.
So we teach you the tools that you need. We'll tell you just the very basic tools that you need, and then the full list of tools for more advanced if you'd like. And we teach you how to block a cake because that's super important. I don't know if...
I think we said that was super important.
Did we? Mm-hmm. Well, it is. It's super important. So we teach you how to block the cake. We teach you, like she said, 3 different kinds of flours that are the basis for all the other flours. We teach you borders and how to put them together, different kinds of borders, different tips.
Well, I want to stop you right there because that's something that really is also sets this course apart from anything else you're going to learn. You learn some basic ways to use the tips and use them in borders and then combine them to make what looks like really elaborate borders by the end of this course. Now, it's not that you're learning some elaborate skill to create elaborate borders. You're learning basic skills and how to combine them in ways that will shock you.
Yeah, it's crazy. It looks like one of those Wilton cake books. And it's, with a lot of practice, it's easy. There's not a lot of, I don't know, what is the word I'm looking for?
Well, I think there's not a lot of fancy stuff. It's really, the basic skills that you learn in succession to put them together. I think that's the big part of it.
Yeah.
Like, it's not so in-depth that you're learning for a month. It's so in-depth that you're learning for 10 or 15 minutes and then taking that skill and learning for another 10 and 15 minutes, and at the end having a really great set of skills to do some amazing things with, and a launching pad to do some even more amazing things in the future. But without these core basic methods, you can't do the fancier stuff. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And my point is that by the end of this course, you're going to be able to make a beautiful cake way easier than I can form a sentence that makes sense.
That's true. She has a hard time with that. So the course really is, we've talked about it a lot, but it's 10 core lessons. And they're always the basic 10 lessons that I've always taught all of my apprentices.
So, along with your 10 lesson videos, there's going to be extra videos too that kind of elaborate on the lesson that you've learned, and you can watch them at any time.
Yeah.
So there's going to be extra videos that go along with other videos. There's going to be PDFs. So what I made was practice sheets. So there are different borders that you learn, and then I made the practice sheets so you can print them out, put a piece of parchment over it, and then practice your borders over and over again with the lines being created for you.
So we did address icing. That was a huge question that people asked about. We addressed the different kinds of icings and have included a recipe for making decorating buttercream, a professional decorating buttercream as well. There are videos in about stacking a cake. How important is that, Leah?
It's really, really, extremely so important.
Is it as important as knowing how to block correctly?
Absolutely.
It is. It totally is. Yeah.
Yes.
It's one of those things. I'll tell you a quick story. So my mom worked in a bakery with another decorator who'd been decorating at that point 25 years. She was a good decorator. My mom taught her many of the methods, and she was amazed at how much it increased her speed and her agility with flowers and all of that. However, the biggest thing was she had never learned how to properly stack a tiered cake. And she told my mom she had so many fall over and she didn't know why. Because she didn't know how to construct a cake. And we're going to show you that, how to construct a stacked cake. It really isn't Cake Decorating 101. It's a little bit more of an advanced method. However, as far as we are concerned, it's Cake Decorating 101. Every decorator needs to know how to properly build and stack a cake, and we've included that.
Yeah, we have.
Yeah, what else? There's just a lot in there.
Yeah, there's ingredients list, there's tools list for almost every lesson in there.
It's all there.
It's all there.
It's all there.
There's links to other videos that show you how we use certain techniques. everything's in there. There's so much stuff in there.
Yeah, we packed everything in that we could think of because we're really committed to successful decorators. We've had so many people around the world tell us about their successes, show us their pictures. I mean, you guys are amazing. The things that you've tried and the things that you've been successful at. Some of you have even showed us the things you weren't so successful at. That's always fun too. Trust us, we have cakes that don't turn out occasionally too.
Yeah, we've had those moments.
However, most people do amazing things, and how many have told us this is my first time really putting together a cake, a wedding cake, a sculpted cake. I mean, people are so brave, but we've seen it happen time and time again. So that's amazing. So really, I mean, everything you need to transform yourself from a beginner to a quasi-expert at the end of about 10 lessons, 11 lessons, is in there. It's also what a person needs who is an experienced decorator to refresh their skills, to hone those skills, and to make sure there's no holes. So if you're not decorating fast enough, if you don't have a full repertoire of flowers that you can pipe on the cake directly, no hard drying, no piping them somewhere else and freezing them, no fondant or molding chocolate, then this is a course for you. It really will transform the way you're decorating now to being a whole next level of skilled decorator, and transform you from a non-decorator to a decorator, period. So all of that can happen in this 10 lesson course. It's really everything that you need to get.
So are you going to tell them how they can get it?
The course?
Yeah, the course. Are you going to tell them how they can get the course?
You guys want to know how you can get the course?
I think we should probably tell them.
Okay. So we're super excited because it's finally here. We've put so much work into it, and I guess I can tell you how you can get it. So at the end of this video, you actually can click to buy the course. Finally. Okay. So you want to know more about it. So this course is normally about $300, $295. So there's a lot of work that went into it, and there's just so much in there. However, we wanted to be able to give it to our viewers, our core group that are members of the Cake Academy, that are members of our Facebook, and that are subscribers to our YouTube. We wanted it to be super accessible. So we made sure that this time that it is more affordable. So it's going to be $195 for the next 5 days. So the window to buy it is only open for 5 days. And for that 5 days, you can get it for the $175 price. But there's something a little bit more we wanted to do for you, our first set of core viewers. So for this time only, we are going to have 5 weeks of live coaching calls with Leah and I. So we're so excited about that. It means that you should be able to take 2 lessons a week, get your practice time in. Did I say they have to practice?
Yeah, you definitely have to practice.
Get your practice time in, and then ask your questions at the end of that week. Tell us what kind of trouble you're having or what kind of successes you're having. And I really feel like people are going to be having more successes than trouble. But it really is helpful to have that support. So before this goes out to the general population, it's going to be available to you guys for a lesser price and with the live coaching calls. So that's pretty awesome.
I'm super excited.
So we want to hear what you guys have to say. Please comment below. You can ask questions below, and we promise to answer. And if you want to transform yourself into a professional, or at least a cake decorator that decorates like a professional, click the link and get started with the intro to the method, and you'll be on your way. We'll talk again really soon, guys.
And we'll see you soon.
Bye.
Do you think I stressed enough about blocking a cake, if that's important?
I think you did. Did we say
Okay.
practice?
I think we did say practice.
Okay, all right.